back to the College Cinephile. My name is Ethan, and today I'm joined by Coleman to talk about the new Neil Armstrong biopic, First Man, from Damien Chazelle, Academy Award-winning director of Whiplash and La La Land. So, like I said, this is a biopic about Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, and it is much more about him and his personal life and the sort of motivations that were going on behind the scenes than it is about the actual space program itself.
Yeah, the whole space program and getting to the moon is kind of a story that the American populace knows already. We know we got to the moon, we know we beat the Russians and all, but we don't know all of what happened behind the scenes and how they got there. And this film specifically deals with a lot of the tragedy that got them there. And that's something I knew about the Apollo missions a little bit. I've been to museums, but I didn't know how many people died and how hard it was. So that was something really eye-opening about the plot.
Right, it's all public knowledge, but mostly we just know about the triumph. And this movie is a lot darker than I was expecting it to be, specifically about the stuff that's going on with Neil Armstrong's family. It's not a new thing for Ryan Gosling to play a sort of bottled up character with a lot of emotions under the surface, but this movie really works that to its advantage, because kind of what the director is going for here is that he is using getting to the moon as a way to suppress his emotions about certain things that have happened in his personal life.
Yeah, the goal of the movie, the plot of the movie is obviously getting to the moon, but it's so much more about Neil Armstrong as a character. It's more a character study on him and his family. And you talked about Ryan Gosling for a bit. I love Ryan Gosling. I absolutely adore the man. He's gorgeous, a hottie, a full meal of a man. But he is such a talented actor too. And the last few movies he's done have all been fantastic. Nice Guys, which came out a few years ago with him and Russell Crowe. He's hilarious in that. La La Land, he is so charismatic. Then Blade Runner 2049, favorite movie of last year for me. That is such a subdued performance in that movie. And I think that really foreshadowed this one for him. Because in that one, he's obviously playing an android that isn't supposed to have emotions. This one, he's just playing a human that forces himself to not have these emotions, that forces himself to bury those. And Ryan Gosling, in just a few key scenes, I think, really hammers that home. He, especially with just facial expression and nonverbal acting, communicates the grief of the character very, very well. And that's something that really blew me away.
No, I agree. It is all about the facial expressions with Ryan Gosling. You see it in Blade Runner, you see it in Drive, and you see it in this movie a lot. I think this is probably the best he's done at communicating things with just eyes and facial twitches and everything. And the woman who plays his wife, Claire Foy, does a great job as well.
She's remarkable.
She's given a very, very good character, which I think is a big issue in a lot of biopics like this, is they kind of neglect the wife. But because he is so emotionally distant, we rely on her to sort of fill in the gaps as to what's going on. And there are so many incredible scenes back at the Armstrong house that are just amazing to watch and really are not what you would expect if you don't know sort of the drama of the Armstrong life, like I didn't know, Yeah. So it was very surprising to go into with that hook to it.
Like you said, she fills in the gaps so well, because Neil as a character doesn't have any outburst or any release for his emotion. There are several scenes where Claire Foy just gets to unleash on the male characters in this movie that are either hiding things from her or unwilling to open up. And she has those scenes, but then she also has some remarkably caring scenes where, as a mother, she's taking care of her children very well, and it's just a very compassionate side of her. But then she can flip the switch and be such a dramatic and almost rageful person in it as well. But Damien Chazelle, I think, as well, this is out of his box a little bit, because the past 3 movies have all been focused on music. There is one his first movies, I don't even remember the name of, but it's
Yeah,
very
the
indie,
two
about
people
jazz.
on the bench
yeah, on
or
the park
whatever,
bench, yeah. And then Whiplash and La La Land, all about like these aspiring musicians and people with ambition and jazz music. And that is, you know, there's hints of music. There's one scene where I almost thought we were going to see Ryan Gosling play the piano again. And I was about to be really happy because I was going to be like, yeah, we work jazz into every single movie, but he didn't. So I think his ability to kind of step outside of his comfort zone a little bit displays, I mean, he already is an Academy Award winning director. He already has proven himself as a very talented, like, young person. But I think this just already shows that he's only growing from here. Like, he didn't cap himself with La La Land.
Oh no, this is some really, really interesting work from him. I mean, Whiplash is one of, like, in my top 10 movies of all time. I think it's great, and I love La La Land too. But this is a much more sort of mature movie for him. You know, I mean, Whiplash and La La Land, there's a lot of surface level stuff going on. You know,
Yeah.
it's very loud, very jazzy, as it were. Whereas this movie is very subdued, very reserved, and he does get some opportunities to break out. You know, but in general, it's very technical approach to filmmaking.
Yeah, this is his most technical movie by
definitely.
far.
I really loved his approach to the sort of cinematography and filmmaking. Like, all the scenes that they're in the shuttles are very claustrophobic and really handheld and up in your face. And I saw the movie in IMAX, and a majority of the film is shot in 16 millimeter to kind of give it a look like it is from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it breaks out into the IMAX scenes, it is unbelievable. I mean, the sequence on the moon is just absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, like,
but spoiler alert, they make it to the moon.
Spoilers, since 1969, I think everyone's known it, but they do get to the moon. No tragedy there. But those scenes on the moon, probably the closest I'm ever going to be to being able to see the Earth from the moon or see what, like, the surface of the moon looks like. And just the whole sequence, like, I feel like my jaw was on the ground. I was just in awe of the technical, like, mastery and cinematography that he has here. On the other side of that, though, on a technical side, the score is really good. He's working with Justin Hurwitz again, the same guy he worked with on all his movies, and the score just works so well for the movie. There's some fun, playful pieces where you can, like, see the ingenuity going behind the scenes in NASA, how they get to the moon. Then there are very dramatic and percussive pieces that enhance that feeling of claustrophobia.
No, I agree. The music is great, and they know exactly when to cut it out. You know, they know when it is important to have that big swelling score and when it's important to take it back. But in general, just all of these elements add up to a movie that I thought was fantastic. I mean, I would give it probably a 4.5 out of 5.
I would agree there. 4.5. It's just a deep character study more than it is a story about getting to the moon. It's about tragedy and loss and how people cope with that. And I think it was just a very, very well done film. 4.5 for me. Those were our thoughts on First Man. Make sure you let us know what you think. If you agree with us, disagree, leave a like. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of our reviews. And join us next time on the College Cinephile.